Are you looking for a podcast where you can hear from real people regarding their real dental drama? If so, then you've come to the right place. Join hosts Bethany Petty and Dr. Rena Kuba as we dive into the solutions we've created and the mistakes we've made while managing dental drama. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Managing Dental Drama. I'm excited to be here today to talk about a subject that I absolutely love, and it's not one that we talk about often in a dental office because it doesn't necessarily come to the forefront of the mind as a problem or as something that needs a solution. To me, it's something that kind of undergirds or is the foundation for everything that occurs in the practice, and that is branding. So oftentimes when we think of brand, we think of big names like Nike comes up almost 100% of the time when I'm talking with a team about their brand. You also think of places like Chick-fil-A, or I talk often about comparing Walmart versus Target and how those are two completely different brands, and their intent when they draw a customer into their doors is very different because of their brand. So let's talk a little bit about what a brand is and how it applies to a dental office, or how it should be applying to a dental office. Again, I would say most practices don't think about this deeply enough or clearly enough. So I want to give you guys some really practical takeaways today that you can hopefully do this week or over the next few weeks as you think about your practice. First of all, let me give you a few definitions of brand that I really like. The first definition is called promised delivered. So a brand, and I put a big old equal sign, equals promise delivered. So whatever we say we're going to do, we do that on a consistent basis. This is where I like to take Target and Walmart as an example. When we compare Target versus Walmart, they are promising two totally different things. Let's talk about Walmart first. For the longest time, Walmart has promised lowest prices guaranteed. They have always intended to attract into their store people who are looking for the lowest price. So we don't always go to Walmart for the wonderful and glorious shopping experience. We go there because we know we're going to get a good price on things. That is the brand, and that is the foundation of Walmart. It's interesting, though, when you look at Walmart, how it's permeated every aspect of their operation. So I recently went into Walmart to grab a few things. Walked in and it was pouring rain outside. Walked into the store only to realize there were no shopping carts in the store. Apparently, all those shopping carts were out in the parking lot, and nobody was super concerned about bringing those shopping carts in for the customers. So I went back out to the parking lot, grabbed my shopping cart in the rain, and walked into Walmart. When I walk into Walmart, I normally walk into some more mature, older greeter that is sitting at the front, and they are normally kind of dressed in the good old Walmart gear or in their own casual clothing, and they often don't even greet you. They're called a greeter, but oftentimes they never even look up. So from the first impression, you're thinking, okay, my expectations need to be pretty low here. You walk on into Walmart, and it is lit by skylights in many of the Walmart stores, or fluorescents, sometimes a combination of both. So you walk into, it's not a dim place, but it's definitely not friendly lighting that just makes you feel good. It's lit, and it's lit as cheaply as possible. And so you continue to walk in. We are not super concerned in Walmart with the cleanliness and the appearance of things. We are concerned about it looking like we're getting the best price. So the reason that when we go to a Walmart checkout station, there's not 10, 12, 20 stations open to warmly greet you and check out your groceries is because in the consumer's mind, that looks expensive. So we don't want it to look like we're expensive because then they're going to question our prices. We don't want it to look fancy because they will then question our prices. Because their brand is lowest prices guaranteed, they want everything in that shopping experience to ultimately feel cheap. You compare that to Target, and they have a completely different promise that they deliver. Years ago, Target ran so many commercials, it was over the holiday season, that were really funny. And the whole tone of these commercials was, come to Target to have fun. You come to Target because of the shopping experience. So, from way back when, Target has made that a priority in everything they do within the walls of Target. So you walk in and oftentimes you're greeted by the lovely scent of Starbucks because they know, Target knows, that if they want to promise a fun and enjoyable shopping experience, a good cup of coffee is really helpful in that. The lighting and the color scheme of Target is completely different. Normally when you walk in, you are met with really bold and bright red and white colors, and you feel happy with those colors. The lighting is completely different. It's laid out very differently. There's a much larger home section and clothing section in Target. They attract customers that are looking to enjoy their shopping experience, and therefore they've turned everything within that store into something that is enjoyable, including many more cash register people there to wait on you. It's very seldom that I wait in a super long line, whereas at Walmart, I factor in 20 minutes every time to make sure that I have time to wait in line. And Target, that is not the case. So again, it's all about the shopping experience with Target. It's all about the price with Walmart. And that has permeated every aspect of the decisions that they make. They have a strong brand. We could make the same comparison between Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, right? It's a very similar comparison. With dental practices, we've got to know what exactly are we promising to our patients, to the public, and are we delivering that on a daily basis? And if we aren't, then what do we need to do to correct that? So promise delivered is an excellent definition for brand. I also like the definition of who we are plus who we are not equals brand. So it's determining just a list of who are we, what do we want to be known for, and what do we not want to be known for. And the combination of those two things equals our brand. One of the things that I think is a really important thing to do in your practice, if you've never done this before or if it's been some time since you've done this, is to make a list of who are we. Not only are we great clinicians, but what else are we? Who else are we to our patients and to the community? Do we intend to be a place of fun? Do we want it to feel like fun when patients come to see us? Do we want a zen, calm, peaceful environment? Are we focusing on bread and butter dentistry, or are we focusing on cosmetic cases? If we've got a specialty practice, what are we doing to set ourselves apart from other specialists in our area? What makes us different? What makes us better than the competition? And then on the same list, I would flip over that piece of paper and I would make a list of things of who we are not. Maybe that means you're not going to be the cheapest in town. Maybe that means that you're not going to be the office that is 100% knowledgeable on every insurance plan. Maybe that means you're not going to be the office that is quick in and out. You're more about quality time, and you want that to be evident in the way that you run your practice. There's so many things that can set you apart by what you are not. And I think that list is just as important as who you are or what you are. The last definition of brand that I really love is what and who your patients say that you are. So this is why I love reviews. We hate reviews, I know, especially when we get a bad one, but I love the positive reviews because it gives us insight into what our brand is, even if we haven't thought about it. So when you read through your reviews and one of them says, "Oh my gosh, it was so welcoming from the time I walked in the door. They talked with me. They cared. They spent time with me. It just is such a wonderful office. I'm recommending it to all my friends." They mentioned several key things there. Your office is welcoming. Your office spent time. It didn't seem like a rushed experience, and they cared. Maybe that is core to who you are as a practice. And then that helps you to kind of deepen that and go, okay, well, how are we showing that we care? How are we slowing it down to make sure that we always deliver quality time with the patients? How do we ensure that we are 100% of the time welcoming to our patients? Does that mean we need to change up the way our waiting room looks to make it feel more welcoming? Does it mean that, wow, that patient happened to walk in on a day when Sally, our insurance lady, had to sit at the front because our front desk receptionist was gone. And wow, Sally made an impact. Our front desk receptionist apparently doesn't seem to make an impact. Maybe we need to switch some roles around to make sure that we are always delivering a welcoming experience. How can we show that we care, and how can we do that with consistency in our practice? So one of the important things about a brand is you've got to deliver it, but you have to deliver it consistently. All it takes is one negative experience that goes against your brand, that goes out on social media or that goes out in an online review, and all of a sudden now your brand is tainted. It's not as clear cut as it should be. So it's really important that you know who you intend to be and how you intend to be that to patients and to the community. So not just, hey, we want to make sure that we're a caring office, and every morning huddle, we rally around that and we go, yeah, put your hands in, 1, 2, 3, we care. That it's so much more than that. We go, okay, we want to show that we care. Let's think through from the first phone call, how are we going to show that we care? Let's think through the first appointment when they walk in the door. How do we show that we care? What are actual tangible ways that we show that we care? When we're going over financial arrangements, how do we show that we care? And you're going through every aspect of your practice, from the way that it looks to the way that the appointment runs to the way that the phones are handled. And you're saying, if this is a value for us, if this is a part of our core DNA, then how are we going to ensure that we are delivering that consistently throughout every aspect of our appointment? You know, it's interesting. I recently had to make an appointment with a cardiologist. I did all my research online. I picked one, of course, based on reviews. That's what we do. And I saw this cardiologist office was near me, and the reviews were just raving. Hundreds upon hundreds of raving reviews. And I thought, man, this is the place for me. And every person commented on the doctor and how caring he was, how he took the time to really explain things. He never seemed rushed. And again, it reaffirmed that's what I'm looking for and that's what I want. But what's interesting is his team must not know that that's what he's going for. I ended up making an appointment, had to wait a couple of months. I wasn't surprised. Given the reviews, I figured he was going to be busy. But what happened was, about a month before my appointment, I started receiving threatening phone calls. They went something like this. "Hello, Miss Petty. We are calling about your appointment in a month." I think it was October 21st or something like that. "We're calling about your appointment on October 21st. We see that you have not provided us with your insurance information. If we do not hear back from you today with your insurance information, I'm going to cancel your appointment." Me being a working woman, and I don't check my phone when I'm with clients, I did not get this message until the end of the day. So 5:30, I'm looking at my phone. I'm seeing this threatening message, panicking because I've waited a month to get in with this cardiologist, trying to call back. I'm leaving a message, providing my insurance information, sending a follow-up email. "Please don't cancel my appointment. Here's my insurance information." Thinking it's said and done, next thing I know, 2 weeks later, Miss Petty, you have an appointment coming up on October 21st. We have yet to receive your insurance information, and also, we don't know the reason for your visit. If we do not hear from you today, then this appointment's going to be canceled. Again, don't get it till the end of the day, total panic, freak out, call them, provide the reason for my visit, provide the insurance information again, follow up with an email. Then I arrive to my appointment only for them to tell me that they have canceled my appointment. After making arrangements with my husband to make sure kids are covered and all of that, taking off work for the day to go over and make this cardiologist appointment, my appointment was canceled. So those reviews, while they may be true for hundreds of people that actually got into the door and met with this doctor who provided the brand that he's expecting for them to experience, your team can make or break your brand. In this particular case, the cardiologist has a team that either doesn't understand his brand, doesn't believe in his brand, or is not trained in how to deliver the brand with consistency. It is critical that once you think through your brand, either on your own or with a team, it's critical that they know and are reminded constantly of what your brand, what your values are, and how you expect them to carry out your brand. Then it's really important to provide some layer of accountability in there. Does that mean that periodically you're eavesdropping on a patient that's checking in and you're making sure that the expectations you have are being followed? Does that mean that you've got a call recording system and you go through once a month and audit, 5-10 phone calls and make sure that your front office team is delivering the brand over the phone? Does that mean that you kind of hang outside in the hallway and listen to your assistants work with patients to make sure that they are delivering the brand? You've got to ensure that what you intend to happen in your office is actually happening. Otherwise, your brand becomes null and void. The other thing that I would encourage you to do from a branding standpoint is I would take the time to evaluate if you have a strong brand at all. Maybe in your mind you kind of know what you want the experience to be like, but you haven't documented it into a clear, concise, and easy to remember brand. So one of the things that I recommend is once you've thought through who I am, who I'm not, what am I promising, how am I delivering that, then you need to condense it down and you need to come up with something that's very memorable. Now, it could just be 5 words. It could be 2 words. It could be a few statements that you make. Whatever it is, you want it to be brief enough and condensed enough that not only can you remember it, your team remembers it. I kind of joked earlier about chanting in morning huddle your brand, but I think that's a great idea. Do you have a cheer in the morning that you can put together to help your team remember the brand? Do you have a way of putting this up visually in your office where your team can see? Maybe that's in the break room. Do you have a way of putting up your promise out in front of your patients? I've got one client who got this beautiful rendition of his brand, his promise, his values, and put it up front and center in the waiting room for his patients to see, because he wants them to know from the get-go what the promise is that he's making to them. And what's cool about it, when the patients see the brand, when they see your team executing that brand, even if they can't quite put their finger on the word that they're representing, they know something's different, something's better. What they do is they go out and they tell others about your brand. Now, they may not say, oh, Dr. Jones promises to always seat you on time. They may not say that, but they may go out and go, you know what? You would love Dr. Jones's office. I know how much you always complain about having to wait in an office. I've been to Dr. Jones 4 different times and I was seated within 5 minutes of my appointment time. Is that not amazing? You would love it. You need to go there. Then we are attracting people who've heard about our brand or seen it on an online review. They show up with that expectation and then boom, you deliver it and they experience your brand and they've bought in. They're loyal now because of that. So condense your brand down into something that you can remember, something that your team can remember, and something that your patients will see visually represented. When you do this, it holds you accountable, it holds your team accountable, but it also ensures that your brand is going out from your office. It's making an impact. That is very hard to do without this type of homework or this type of discussion with yourself and with your team. I can guarantee you that Target, Walmart, Chick-fil-A, Nike, these branding experts keep their brand at the forefront of their mind. Your brand should impact every decision that you make, every single decision. Oh, we need a new phone system because our phone system is so old and outdated. What is our brand? Our brand is to create a smooth and seamless experience for every patient. Oh, okay. So we need a phone system that reinforces that brand. We need it to work so that we don't have issues hearing our patients or calls dropping. We need consistency there. We need that they're not being answered by a phone system, but they're being answered by a person because that's smooth and seamless. Okay, let's look at phone systems that are consistent, they're rated well, they work, they don't drop calls, and we're going to be the ones answering the phone. There we go. You have now reinforced your brand with a simple decision, even something as simple as phones. Again, if I take this back to Target, I can guarantee you that they think about what that first impression is going to be when you walk into their store. They think about the rug. They think about the shopping carts. They think about the lighting. They have thought through all of that, and you should too, because every bit of that sends a message to your patients and sends a message to your team. And that message needs to be consistent and branded. So as we talk about branding, I want to bring in a voice memo that was sent in from one of the marketing and branding companies that I refer to called Affordable Image. So they're kind of an all-in-one marketing and branding firm. They create logos and they do websites and manage social media. They do mailers. So they kind of have this all-in-one branding idea, which is why I love referring to them. And one of the things that they say in this memo, I think is really important to think about as we kind of wrap up our conversation on branding. Let's listen in.
When it comes to brand consistency, I see it as a way to build genuine authenticity and trust on a consistent basis with your audience. When you think of a brand, oftentimes, you think about the logo, the colors, what are those visual elements, right? But taking it a step further, it's really important that you bring about that feeling that your audience gets or that your patients might get when they come in contact with you. So what's that customer experience when they walk into your practice, when they walk in the front door, right? They've already seen your website, they saw the signage, but what's inside matters. And so when these patients and your audience truly feel connected to your brand and it's associated with a positive experience or a positive memory, then you have now created a feeling that also is connected to the visual elements. And that, I think, is where, is a really big opportunity to really put your brand and your business in a place to where you can grow that and you can, in the community, really get people talking about, wow, they're doing really great things, and you kind of get that heartwarming feeling. And that's what's really important as well, that sometimes I think we might overlook.
All right. So I love the emphasis that she has on the feeling that's created with a brand. So we've talked through a lot of the promises that you're making to patients, delivering those with consistency. But all of this is usually experienced emotionally by our patients. It's not just a logical adoption of your brand or a logical appreciation of your brand. When you've taken the time to go through and really think about what makes you unique, what makes you different, what makes you better, when you've thought through that in detail, you've come up with something clear, concise to remember, kind of your code of conduct. What happens is, as you deliver that, the patients that come into your office experience it emotionally, okay? Now they may be making logical notes along the way, but ultimately there's something in their emotion that fires on and they become loyal or committed to your practice. You know, my dad is a dentist, and one of the things that he always talks about, and I've continued to use as I consult with others, is, you know, despite the fact that he tries hard to do the best possible dentistry, he says, you know what? They don't really care about the dentistry. They care about how you made them feel when they were in your office. And I think that's so important. We've got to have a clear focus on what we want them to feel coming out of our office. And that can be a variety of things. It doesn't have to be the standard. We want to make sure that they know we care. It can be something very unique. It can be, I want them to come into my office and to know that they've walked into the most technologically advanced office and they get excited about that. That is a feeling that you're trying to create. And if you are an extremely technologically advanced office, then how in the heck are you showcasing that? How are you talking about it? How is your team talking about it? You want to flaunt your brand as openly and as humbly as possible, but it's got to be front and center. Maybe you want your patients to come in and go, you know what? This is the creme de la creme. This is the top of the top. I am not going to walk into a better office. I can tell that they use the best products, the best material. They're doing all kinds of advanced options in this place. This is where I want to go because, man, I want to be associated with the best, and that excites me. Okay, that is something that you can go after in every aspect of your practice. Figure out what it is that you want to be known for that sets you apart. Create a clear and concise brand. Some people say mission statement. I don't love mission statements because they're a little too long. It's hard to be clear and concise in a mission statement. But a few key words, a few key statements that you can really sink your teeth into, and your team can become just ambassadors and ralliers for this brand. The other thing that I would tell you is, once you have determined your brand, you've really kind of narrowed it down, you know what you're going to start portraying or showcasing to your patients, is you have to have a daily reminder of it. So we actually in our family have a family motto. We created this together probably about a year and a half ago. And every morning on the way to school, we talk about our motto. We talk about our values. So this motto is tied up in who we want to be known for. As our family goes out to school and to work, what do we want to be known for? And we repeat this every morning. So I normally have a kid tell me, okay, what's our motto? And they will tell me, and then I say, how are we going to execute it today? That daily reminder of who we are and who we want to be known for is critical. It sets the day in motion so that this brand, this motto, this promise that you intend to deliver is at the forefront of your mind, and it's at the forefront of your team's mind. And when it is front and center, we have a better chance of executing that on a consistent basis. So, big takeaway from this episode is, if you haven't thought about your brand or you haven't revisited your brand in a while, it's time to do so. Once you have thought about your brand, I want you to kind of rate yourself. So if you already have a brand in place, go through and rate yourself. Maybe that's a mission statement. Break apart the mission statement and rate yourself 1 to 10. We promise to care for all of our patients. Okay. As the practice owner or as the dentist in this practice, how am I doing that on a scale of 1 to 10? Let's say it's a 7. Okay, what are areas that I need to improve upon in this category? Let's say we want to respect every patient's time. That's a core value for you guys. Rate yourself on that. How are we doing that? Are we running our schedule in a way that shows that we value their time? Are we seating our patients on time? Are we dismissing our patients on time, right? So reevaluate that. Are we delivering that? And if not, how do we need to deliver that? If you've never thought about your brand, then again, I would take the activity that I was talking about earlier. Front page, who are we? What are we known for? Who are we? What do we do? Even down to who do we do it for? Who are the people that we want in this practice? And how can I create an office experience where they connect with who I am as a doctor and as a practice? Who am I? And then on the backside, who am I not? Who do we not want the practice to be? Break that down into core values or your DNA, who you are, make it clear, concise, and memorable, and then start on a daily basis reminding yourself and your team of your brand and who you're going to be that day for those patients. I hope this has been helpful. It's, again, not a subject we think about often, but to me, it's the foundation of everything you do and every decision that you make on a daily basis. So I wish you all the best. Good luck discovering that brand.
Thanks for joining the conversation today. We hope that you are comforted in knowing that you are not alone, but we also hope that you're walking away with some really great tips and tricks to try in your practice. We value your feedback, so please take a few moments to rate and review the podcast. Finally, we want to make sure that we're covering the topics that matter to you. So track us down on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and let us know what topics you want us to cover. As always, please know that we are rooting for you today as you manage your dental drama.